Morning. There's a little gremlin in the kitchen. I'm a big gremlin, but there's a little gremlin here too. I've still been working on coloring the variant issue for Frankie B. Washington. It's almost done, but really I've been hammering on the Kickstarter. When I did issue 2 the Kickstarter, I was able to bring over most of the assets from issue 1, and I was going to do the same thing and just adjust them and update things, but most of them I don't have anymore. They were lost in that whole computer thing that happened a couple years ago, which isn't that big a deal, but also the typeface I had used as the basis for creating the logo for the Horror 4. I drew on top of it, I changed it around, but that was the basis, and I used that as my normal typeface on the Kickstarter. I don't have that anymore, and I don't know what it's called. So I don't know if I want to try to invest time in trying to replicate that exactly or just find something close enough. I also need to make a video, but I'm far along, but my goal is by the end of today / this weekend, I'm gonna have the Kickstarter ready to go. And I mostly do, except for the story part. And then I wanna launch the pre-launch page on Monday in 2 days, the day after Easter, so that the actual Kickstarter will go live, I think the 28th, which if I run it for a month, will end the Monday after Pasadena Comic-Con, so I could advertise the Kickstarter there. And then potentially I could have, the Kickstarter will be over for Kaiju Brooklyn, but I could potentially have copies of the comic by then. That's the goal. 11:05 Saturday before Easter. I just spent a long time getting ready for Easter, as I knew I would Saturday night. Filling Easter eggs, hiding them around the house, setting up we do more gifts than candy, so that some of the Easter eggs will have a star in it, and then we follow the star and it's on her tent. You open the tent, hey, there's a new bunny dress with a little stuffed animal, things like that. So I did that. Worked on the Kickstarter a bunch today. Got the video done. It's pretty much ready to go. The next phase is we'll be lining up the stretch goals and getting graphics for the pins. But we're really there. Yeah. Good night. I don't know what the distinction between a creek and a stream is. I know it's not a river. I know when it doesn't rain for a while, it dries up. It's not that big. The creek is beautiful.
It's not a creek.
It is a creek. Easter night. I updated the Kickstarter a little bit more here and there. So tomorrow will be the pre-launch, which will be a week. The way I understand it is you'll only be able to see the basic info. And that's what everyone, oh, it's coming and here's where you want to be, and you'll get notified. But you can't see all the tiers and all the info and everything like that. Unless I give you a preview link, which I did to a couple friends. They could see the whole thing, but as I could, but they can't edit it or buy anything or whatever. And so I'm gonna use this next week to tweak anything I need to tweak. One thing I realized was one of the big things I need to do is get all my stretch goals done, but I don't. Because previously I sort of listed all my stretch goals in a line. I was like, this is what we're going for. I don't need to do that. First of all, I've now done other crowdfunding where I've seen that maybe they'll show you 1 or 2, and then if you get those, there's even more. But looking at Young and the Dead by my buddy Scott Cirkland, he's got this great Kickstarter going right now. I think he's more than halfway done. It's already funded, whatever. And he has his stretch goals, but he has the first one. And then the others are locked, and you don't know what they are. So there's the excitement of unlocking it. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just say the first one, and then the others will unlock. And if in the meantime I realize something costs too much or isn't gonna work or whatever, it's behind the scenes, so I could change it. Not in an immoral trying to cheat people way, but at one point I was thinking oh, maybe I'll do shirts. And I still might do shirts, but as a Kickstarter reward makes no sense, because the idea being well, if I make enough money, I could invest that money into making shirts. Let's say I do that. I'm making up numbers here. Let's say I get $300 extra over what I needed, and that's what it would cost to print 100 shirts. Great. But when you do that, you would get 100 medium, 100 large, whatever, or it would cost more to get different sizes, blah, 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 blah. Then let's say, and what am I gonna give them away for free? I haven't priced them out. Let's say a normal shirt sells for about 20 bucks. So my cost would probably be 5. This is just me making up numbers. Let's say 10, because if it's a short print run, it's print on demand. So then can I afford to give everybody a $10 shirt? What if I just do it at a higher level? Oh, if you pledge over 50, 100, whatever. But the shipping is gonna go up dramatically from something big like that being put in. So then I've been thinking well, I'll make it available and you don't get it for free, but hey, now shirts are available. And maybe I think the compromise, and I'm not doing shirts. The compromise I thought of, well, I'm probably not doing shirts. The compromise I thought of was let's say I'm gonna sell the shirts for $20 at shows and on my website and whatever. but my cost is like $10. Maybe I make a Kickstarter where I get enough money to print up 100 shirts. And anybody on the Kickstarter that wants one can do an add-on tier and get it at cost. So if 20 people say, hey, I want a shirt, they get it for $10 or whatever it costs me. And so I don't make any money at all on that, but I've got 90 shirts left to sell that I wouldn't have had. That's kind of the idea I have with some of these bigger tier items, but I also want to be able to give stuff away free. And spoiler, the first tier is like, if I get an extra $100, I'll make a second sticker and give it to everybody that has a physical reward free. I think that's what I did the last 2 times. It seems to go well, and I'll go from there. But the point is, behind the scenes, if I have an idea, instead of putting it up and being stuck with it, I could finesse the numbers and see if it really makes sense later on. So that's what I'm gonna do. Remember what I said about skies? Yeah, continue. And this is the Horror A4. This is my kaiju for my independent kaiju comic. I'm kickstarting issue 3 very soon. This is the pre-launch, so you could sign up to get notified when it goes live. Doesn't cost you anything. Helps me. Social media stuff. I made the video that, like a short video that I put on Instagram Reels and Facebook, whatever, Shorts, whatever they call it on there. And then I put it on TikTok, which I haven't posted on in a while. Still haven't done YouTube, but I got that all settled. I responded to some more feedback that I'd gotten from people online, which is great. And what was the other thing I did? I did something else. I've been copying a lot of what Scott Cirkland's been doing because he's running his campaign and he's a very organized, diligent fellow. Now, if I was really smart, I would just copy everything he's doing because he's doing it great. But I'm kind of lazy and kind of want to be in a hurry, so I'm sort of like ad hoc picking a few things here that are easy. But one of the things I'm doing is typically when I do comics, I have a 9x12 photo mailer that I use for prints and for comics. And I put it in a double bag and board, and it's usually fine. However, it's not so good if I'm going to be having 3 or more comics in there. And especially if it's going to be shipping internationally, which I don't know if it will, but so he uses these Gemini comic shipper boxes that are just super reinforced. And I was like, well, how much are these? And I looked, and they're about $1 each. If I buy 100 of them, it's a little over $1 each, which is not too much more than the other shippers I was using. So I'm not going to use them for prints and stuff, but I ordered a case of 100 to have ready to go for shipping comics, specifically for a Kickstarter. And if it works out well, that might be my new go-to, because it just makes sense. Now, one of the things he's smart about is he talked about prints, and anything he includes will fit in that box shape. My print is going to be 11 by 17, so it definitely won't fit in that box. So if anybody gets the tier with the larger things, either I'm still going to have to put it into the big envelope and make do, or I will send them 2 packages. Not efficient, might lose a few bucks here and there, but that's just the way I'm going to do it. I'm figuring it out as I go. I'm changing as I go. Should have done a lot more research, but it's a thing of like, I just want to have it done in time for Kaiju Brooklyn, and that is the priority. This is my 3rd issue. When I do the collection, which is what he's doing, of his whole story, I'm going to be a lot more deliberate about it, but for now, I'm just getting it out there, getting it done, go. So social media. I just spent an hour to an hour and a half at the coffee shop. I'm going home now to work on some other stuff that I'm not doing any coloring today. Basically, I created a graphic that said, pre-launch for the Kickstarter, blah, blah, blah. Here's the link. Thanks to everybody. Go. And I shared it on my personal Facebook, my artist Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Kara. Then I went on Facebook, my artist account, and shared it to every group that made sense. Power Rangers groups, comic book groups, kaiju groups, Godzilla groups, things like that. And it only lets you share to 10 groups at a time. So I had to do like 5 or 6 batches to get it to all the groups. And also, some groups will immediately reject a link that you're resharing. So I had to put a little thing on top like, hey, here's my link, like an extra text box on top of the share that I wrote out, and then I copy and pasted that on everyone to make sure it wouldn't get rejected for that reason. Any that get rejected at this point, what I tend to do is then I leave those groups, because not for nothing, but if I can't share the art I'm working on and my comics and stuff, why am I in these groups? I mean, yes, to see other people's works, yes, to share art, blah, 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 but for my artist account, it's to promote myself, and if they won't let me promote myself, then there's no point in me being a part of that group. So after I did that, the other thing is I have to keep track, so like when I get to 10, I take a screenshot of the list so I know where on the list I was. So I did that. Then I did a version of that where I made it clear that I wasn't expecting or needing anybody to buy from me, but if they would just sign up for the pre-launch, it helps the algorithm, share my thing around more, which my understanding is that it does. So then I used that message and link to text members of my family, friends that aren't on social media, you know, randos that I've met in real life that maybe I don't know on Instagram or whatever, and so I did that. Now, I'm not going to be doing this every time I put up an update or anything like that. Just this. This is like the big blast where I don't feel bad hitting up any rando, because like, okay, here's your chance. Sign up for free, and after that you'll get a notification and join or don't. The rest I'll keep more to traditional social media, and I won't be doing one-on-one stuff because I don't like getting messages, stuff like that. And honestly, the only people I messaged are people, again, friends and family that I'm close with, or people that I know for a fact are not on social media. What I'm not doing is going on like Facebook and messaging all my friends individually, because I've had people do that to me before. And on Facebook, your friends aren't necessarily your friends. Like, oh, this is somebody I think I saw at a convention 8 years ago maybe, and they're like, hey, you gonna support my Kickstarter, as like a private message. And that's awkward because maybe I want to, maybe I don't, maybe I remember them, maybe I don't, but now it's like this, you know, you can't ignore it like a regular post. It's like, it feels like you have to answer, and I don't like it. So I'm gonna go home, and I need to make, I'm gonna make a short video to put on YouTube to make it a short. I wanna do a reel for Instagram and a few other things, just to round out the first day of social media blitzing. Tomorrow I plan on not doing anything. Oh, that was the other thing. All the groups that I posted to, once it got approved, I'd go in and like it. And if anybody else had liked it, I would, you know, if I had a comment, I'd answer or like it. But anybody else, I would also then invite them to like my Gazbot page. So yeah, follow through takes a long time. Tomorrow I won't be doing anything new. I will follow up any questions or comments or invites, or, you know, invite other people, whatever. But in the evening, I'm going to be on the Artcasters, where I will promote it that way, and then I will share that link. And then I'll probably do nothing Wednesday, and then come back Thursday. It's tough because I don't want to spam people, but my experience with the last two is there are people who didn't know I put out a comic at all, even though I posted about it on average once a week on every social media platform I had. And friends of mine, like actual friends, are like, oh, when did you do that? It's like, did you not see it? So I'm trying to embrace don't literally post the same, just here's a link every day, but post something and then relate it back to the Kickstarter, mention the Kickstarter, find a way to let people know. And again, it's not even like, oh, everybody has to back this, but I'd like it if everyone was aware of it and could then make a choice. If you know I did it and you decide not to back it, that is fine. No hard feelings, great. But if you don't even know I did it, that's bad. So that's sort of my goal this time around. And yeah, so I'm gonna go home and take care of some of that stuff, and then work on the lettering revisions that I don't need to get done now, but I have a feeling my letterer is like working on other stuff, and I feel like he's gonna finish and be like, okay, I'm ready to blast through this weekend or whatever. So I want to be ready when he's ready, instead of, oh, well, it was half done and he blew through all that work and now he's waiting on me. So those are kind of my goals. And then if I have extra time to do some coloring, sure, but that's, you know, I don't need to have that done for much longer time. Sideways in the car. I'm driving the Fit, which is the older car. The one good thing about this is has a mount so that I can record myself more safely. The bad thing is I'm so used to having backup cameras and warning beepers that I've gotten rusty at driving a regular car, where I need to pay attention to curbs and things. And I'm back to like, oh, I think I'm clear there. And that day is Monday. Kids at school, she's not sick, but she kind of is, but it's been this weird thing where she had like a fever and couldn't get out of bed and fell asleep, and then later that night had no fever and was 100% fine. And then the next day was fine, but then halfway through the day was like, oh, I'm coughing and stuffy, and then it went away. Like, it's very weird. But she only had a fever. She doesn't have a fever. She hasn't had a fever for a day or two. She's high energy. She's bouncing off the walls. Like, so, you know, she's going to school. But she had a tiny little bit of a cough. I was a little bit sick a few weeks ago. Not enough that it stopped me, but I was, you know, hacking up yuckies and stuff. And I feel 100% fine now. But I have this weird dry cough that was bothering me, like, at night and when I woke up. And so I don't know if I got what she got or something else. But I don't want to be a jerk. So I got my coffee and I'm sitting outside instead of sitting inside where I'd like to be. I also am not 100% sure what I'm going to do today, because I need to finish coloring the variant cover Frankie B. Washington, but I'm also, the Kickstarter pre-launch has happened. And it's weird because normally people be following my journey and I'd be like, hey, it's happening, everybody. I'm going to make another video to let people know in real time, but you know, this is, you know, you're watching this months later. And so yeah, Kickstarter has some differences. There's the pre-launch, which is, you know, however long before it starts. I'm doing a week. And then my actual campaign is going to be about a month. It might be like a day or two, one way or the other, because I wanted it to end on a Monday and start on a Monday. And so there's some behind the scenes stuff I need to do, but yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to work on today. I think I'm just going to be doing a lot of social media, making people aware. and then see where I'm at that point. It's a new day. Stuff to make sure. I think I have the inside, front, and back ready to go. And I realized since I have 26 pages, I have 2 extra that are probably going to be ads. Spent about an hour getting files flattened and ready for the letterer. I did the first 10, so the art is like completely done and flattened and ready. These all have lettering already, but some have revisions. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 need revisions. 5 are completely done. And then I need to upload these to Dropbox to replace the ones that were there and then do the rest. Hey everybody, it's me, your old pal Gazbot. This is my Tron 1-Up cabinet. It's a reproduction, it's not a vintage, so I had to build it. Anyway, they're cheaper but still expensive. This spinner has broken twice. I fixed it, replaced it, fixed it, reinstalled it myself twice, and I probably need to get some third-party thing to fix it. This has nothing to do with anything. Tuesday morning, gotta do more Kickstarter stuff today. Gotta do more Kickstarter stuff today. Secondary objectives are finishing getting the pages ready for the letterer and getting the color done on the variant cover. But first, I get to deal with cat puke. She just hooked up here. I kind of tried to catch it. Then over here, I caught it. And then she's like, but also blah, blah, blah. I still think cats are easier than dogs, despite that. Not that I don't like dogs, but they're just a lot more work. You're not dancing with me.
Are you want to dance?
Yeah. No, but you're not. None of the. Do you know what dancing is? It's like already expensive stuff, but like, that's madness. To get ramen before we go to this art event, and I forgot how cool Little Tokyo in Los Angeles is, but now I gotta find the restaurant he's at. So, independent playtime. Wanted to just rest, but I'm like, no, you know what? I'm so close to be done this variant cover. I just had to do like one more thing, tweak, and then maybe, make 2 or 3 versions to pick the one I liked, but I was almost, I'm like, I'm just gonna power through and do that. And something happened. It's not all ruined, the work isn't all done, but I did like an hour and a half of work finishing it almost at the coffee shop on my iPad. And I brought it home to do on Photoshop, and something got messed up. This is an earlier version. And this is the version I was just working on. Now, the main thing I'm looking at here is the shadowing. See how it's much darker and deeper on the horror? And here it's like flat and lightened or whatever. And this is like the finished version, although it's missing things somehow. And I can't figure out what happened, but it seemed like the easiest thing was like, oh, I accidentally turned off a layer, but I couldn't find it. Then maybe I deleted it. Then I looked, and the other one still has that layer. It's number 72 on the shading of the horror. And I'm like, oh, maybe I turned the opacity down, but I didn't. And then I'm like, okay, maybe I somehow changed the color. Like I selected it all. So I selected the color from the other one and tried to bucket drop it. Didn't work. I'm going to be able to fix it. But like something went wrong. And now instead of just finishing it, I've been spending all this time trying to fix something that went wrong. Went on strong, hard like a gong, gonna blast it out. My name is Rafa Khan. I'm flying so high. Don't know what I'll do, but I'm not gonna die. Immortal is my name, and I live forever. You better step back, or I'm gonna give you a fever. It's like a fever. 1:30. I'm sitting here having a late Dunkin' Donuts lunch with the child, and why? Yeah, exactly. Why? Because I was in the shower, just starting to get ready, and my phone rang, and it was the school, and she had an ear infection, so I had to go pick her up. So I kind of did a not great shower and went and picked her up. Couldn't see our regular doctor or any of the doctors in that network today, so we went to urgent care, and there was no one there, but it took us about 2 hours to get seen. We got into the room pretty quick, and then literally just sat in the room after seeing the nurse for about an hour. So we entertained ourselves for a while. She didn't get lunch because she left school before lunch, and looked at her for like 1 second. I was like, yep, ear infection. Children's Tylenol, which I just gave her, and some prescriptions to pick up later. But we stopped at Dunkin' Donuts on the way home and got ourselves a nice little treat lunch for our troubles. And then we'll go pick up the prescription later.
Eat the donut.
What?
Eat the donut.
Are you saying eat the donut?
Easter donut.
Oh, Easter donut. It is an Easter donut. It's a cotton candy donut, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, we shared that one. Because, healthy. Cleaned up some cat puke from yesterday that I hadn't done. I just let it sit there, and I took it up a bag of garbage and went to the bathroom, and now I'm upstairs trying to decide if I want to try to take a quick nap, if I even can, or take a shower, or do both. In what order? I think I'm gonna lay on bed for a minute and ponder. It is Wednesday. I'm heading to home. I need to pick the kid up in about an hour and a half. So I have a little bit of time. What I have done, I went to the coffee shop. All 3 days I've been sitting outside and doing sort of half days because I'm a little bit sick. I mostly feel okay, but I'm the worst today that I've been. I've got a little bit of a sore throat and a cough. Actually, my throat's not even that sore. It's just a cough. But I'm a little sniffy for the first time. I don't want to get everybody sick. I mean, I don't know. It's a balancing act. Like, I feel fine. I can live my life. But I don't want to, like, sit breathing in front of somebody, next to me drinking coffee for hours. But anyway, I think I finished the colors on the variant cover. I got to clean up one part that I need to use Photoshop at home because I want to do a color hold. And I kind of faked it where the ink lines, I want to turn the ink lines into a color. And for some reason, I'm having trouble doing that in Procreate. I know there's a way to do it with like a clipping mask, but I think because I imported it as an image that had white and black, I can't do, like, I need that like multiply thing that Photoshop has. Anyway, there might be a way to do it. I don't know how to do it. I think it's done other than doing that when I get home, either now or later. But yeah, I think it's done. So I'm heading home. I'm probably gonna take a shower and do a couple other like house things and hygiene things, just life stuff, because I got a lot going on today, I realized. Which is, I'm glad that I did the pre-launch Monday and I did Artcasters yesterday. I might put up like some small social media, like just regular posts today about like, I'm trying to think of things to do, like maybe show a picture of the horror or some other piece of art and be like, by the way, there's also that Kickstarter, but just to like my main social media, not go too crazy about it. So I'm glad I did all the crazy stuff the last 2 days. Because despite my being a little sick and the kid I think I got the same thing she has. She has it less than I do. But anyway, she has early release today, which normally means I go to my mom's and I get extra time. But my mom is super sick. I think the kid got it from wherever she got it and has had it for a while. It's just like this lingering cough that she's fine, but it's not going away. And I think my mom got it and it's hitting her real hard. Like where she thought she had COVID, it's not, but it's, it's pretty serious. Not hospital serious, but like laying in bed for days on end serious. I got it where, you see, I'm mostly fine. I didn't get good sleep last night. I woke up a few times coughing, and then the kid decided to get up at 5:30 today when normally she gets up 7:30. So I don't know what that was about. So I don't have a lot of sleep. All this is to say, I'm going to meet up with a parent friend with their kid, and we're going to this little kid museum in this downtown area. Probably going to get another coffee when I get there, because I'm still drinking a coffee, but I still don't feel like I'm awake. But then I'm getting off duty an hour before I normally would, because weirdly I have social plans. My friend Kevin, who is one of the people doing the variant covers on my comic, actually lives in LA, which is about an hour to 2 hours away from me, depending on traffic and where we're going and da-da-da-da-da. And I rarely ever see him, because even though that's not that far, when you have a kid, it's a lot farther. But there's an event for Robert Crumb. There's like an autobiography book about him or something, and so they're discussing that. Robert Crumb was supposed to be there but canceled due to health stuff, but it's the author or co-author of the book, and it's being discussed, moderated, whatever, by Art Spiegelman and Matt Groening. So I'm like, hey man, this is right near you. I'm thinking of going. You want to go? So we're going. And the tickets weren't that bad. You could get tickets for $30, but they were bad seats. But they had this package. It was $80 for 2 seats, and you get a copy of the book signed for $80. And so he said, well, I'm in for $30. Let's do those seats. And I said, well, give me the $30. I'll get the $80 package. Oh, that's the other thing. The seats are better. It's like instead of being the nosebleed, they're not front row, but they're like in the main area. So I was like, you pay the same $30. I'll pay the extra $20. We get better seats, and I'll keep the book. And he's like, yeah. I almost said, bet. Am I getting the slang now? Bet. Yeah. Oh, look at me. I'm up on the slang from 10 years ago. Woohoo! Anyway, that's what I'm doing tonight. All this is great, but I'm realizing like, oh, I better use this little bit of time I have before I go out with the kid, because when I get back, then I'm going right out for this other thing. And I need to rest a little bit, take a shower, do a few other things. So that's what I've done today. You don't even need to hear this. I'm just sort of running through my head of the stuff going on. I'm also driving in the Fit again because Arizuki had a doctor's appointment, so she didn't bolt. But I should have the bolt later. Doesn't matter. I need to stop talking about this. I'm excited about my Kickstarter. Yeah. Oh, just like Spider-Man. Or Ghost Spider.
Yeah, but I think he's staying there. Oh, if I tippy toe, I can sort of see it.
It's 8 o'clock Thursday. Today was a weird day. The kids stayed home from school. I was more sick than she was. I felt better in the beginning of the day and then kind of got worse as it went on. I'm okay, but I'm just, I didn't get any sleep last night and I'm low energy and blah, blah, blah. But it's the end of the day. We're good now. I didn't do much work on the horror. I had to put together some videos and I did a little bit of behind the scenes Kickstarter stuff. Yeah, no work on the horror. The horror's done. But there's formatting and things like that. But one thing I was working on actually drawing the horror, but it's for a stretch goals graphic I'm working on. So I got some stock footage and kind of Frankenstein together this silhouette of a city. And then the idea being that this is something I wanted to do last time, but I forgot, and I just had like a list. The idea being that when you hit them, it'll be like, boom, okay, we got that one now, and move on. But I need to draw a version of the horror, which I may leave as a silhouette, I may not. I'm kind of drawing it like semi-fully here. That's kind of what I'm working on. Friday, kids back at school. I'm at the coffee shop. I'm feeling better. I've been taking medicine, and it's too cold to be outside. All right, I've been here about 2 hours, and I finished the graphic. This was the drawing of the horror A4, and I have it all set up here now, so that basically as we achieve each one, he'll smash through, and those will unlock. Saturday, which is family day, got done with all the family stuff. Usually I'm on duty the second half of the day, but we switched around, so I got up early, did all the stuff, and we ended by watching Muppets in Space. It was my choice for a movie. I like the Muppets. I always liked Muppets in Space. I remember seeing it when it came out in the 90s, late 90s, whatever year it was, 99 I think, which introduced me to the character of Pepe, who was one of my favorites. And there's a lot of good Pepe Rizzo Gonzo action, which for me is the best. Not that I don't like other characters too, but those three are like, that's the three for me. So now I'm walking to get a little exercise because I had a donut before and because I should exercise regardless. My goal today, before I go to sleep, is to have the rest of the lettering pages formatted and any revisions I want done for my letterer, Dave. I've got 10 pages done of the 24, so I got 14 left to do. And it's one of those things that won't take that long. It's just very tedious, monotonous, whatever. Not so much the notes that I may need to give them on certain pages, but I have to take each file and then flatten it and then whatever, and then put it in the Dropbox and make sure it's labeled correctly. And it's very office-y, and I just don't like doing it. But I don't know if he started work or not, but he basically was like, Sunday, I'm definitely going to be working on it. So I'm like, okay, well, I got to have that done. And then by Monday, I have to have the Kickstarter 100% ready to go. Now, if it had to go right now today, it could, but it could be zhuzhed up a little bit. I could add some more graphics. I did that stretch goal graphic. I realized one of the rewards is pins, but I don't really have those pins designed yet. Some of them are going to be reuse of art I already have. I might do 1 or 2 new drawings, but I have to at the very least have a placeholder of the 6 pins, like an image of, final art to come or something like that. So I want to have that done by Monday morning, essentially. And I also realized I did a pretty good job of hitting all the social medias and personal contacts that I thought were worth hitting for the pre-launch. 2 areas that I neglected is mailing list. I don't really have a mailing list. It's something everybody talks about. My problem is I years ago tried to make one, and I collected a bunch of email addresses from various, not nefariously, but at conventions or other artists or whatever. So I have a ton of business cards. But I never populated a mailing list. I think I have them briefly with like 10 people on it. But if you go over a certain number, it just gets flagged as spam. You can't do it from a normal account, or at least you couldn't then. And so there was, I can't remember what it's called, like Monkey Punch or something. No, Monkey Punch is an anime artist. There was some service that's like, hey, if you want to do, mass emails or a mailing list, you use this. And so I signed up, but then it was like, oh, but to do this, you need a post office box. So I got the post office box. And then once I got it, it had this weird kind of spreadsheet. Like I couldn't just put a bunch in with like separated by commas and be like, send this to them. It was like populated and I couldn't figure it out. And I tried to do it and it wasn't working. And then my PO box expired. And basically, I don't know how people do mailing lists. So I've been thinking about, once again, trying to get that going, or at the very least, taking, 5 or 10 at a time of these emails I have and just, brute forcing a few notifications out there that the Kickstarter is going. The other thing I realized is, and I think I did this for issue 2, but maybe not. I have people who backed issue 1 and issue 2, and I could send them messages through Kickstarter about issue 3, and that's something else that I'm going to do very soon. Will I be doing any drawing? Well, no drawing. It'd be graphic design, I guess, at the most, if I'm setting up the button layout thing. Okay, finished my walk. My mom is very sick. Well, she's not, I'm laughing. My mom is sick in a normal, not dangerous, going to the hospital kind of way sick, where this Thursday, in like 4 days, which is, things have been so crazy, we kind of forgot about this. Since I've lived here, it's been about 3 years, I've been wanting to go to Star Wars Nights, which is just what it sounds like. In the evening, usually in May. May the 4th would be the big day, because May the 4th BOSU. They stay open late. They did this for Halloween, they do this for other things, but they have Star Wars Nights where they stay open later, they have more Star Wars characters, you're allowed to get dressed up, and it's just like a Star Wars themed closing, and I've been wanting to go to that. And I was mentioning this to Tech Advisor Azuki, and she's like, well, let's see if tickets are still available. And they were, and we got them. And then she's like, I'll go with you, and we'll get your mom to babysit. And this was all planned and arranged. So the idea being that Thursday night, we would go enjoy it for a while and come home. And it wasn't going to be cheap, but that's what it was going to be, like a big date night. And we realized that my mom is too sick to be able to babysit even by Thursday. She's not going to be available to do that. So either we cancel, I go by myself, and you can't like resell these tickets. I guess maybe we can get a refund, or I could find somebody else. Anyway, or we bring the kid. We were able to get a ticket for her, but then it's so late that she goes to bed at like 7 or 8 normally, and that's when this starts. So it's gonna be like a wild night for her. And we would want to get her to sleep, so we'd have to stay at a hotel in the area, and then she'd miss school the next day, and if she's missing school anyway, maybe we, do some daytime Disney. So what's looking like now, what was going to be a big date night for Tech Advisor Azuki and I is now looking like a miniature family trip, which is going to cost a lot more and is going to involve missing a day of school and whatever else. But that's what's going on. But aside from that, I've been working on the Kickstarter still. Sent this message to my previous Kickstarter backers. And I should have sent this a while ago, the pre-launch, and kind of given the heads up, but I forgot this is a thing you could do. And then when I remembered, I just didn't get it done the last few days. So anyone that backed the first and second issue is going to get 2 messages. Sorry about that. But if I didn't, then I wanted to make sure everybody who backed either one got it. So, and that'll go live tomorrow. So they have the link, they know it's coming. Great. I double checked all the postage stuff. That's done great. There was one other thing I wanted to do. Oh, I got to create a launch graphic, but I'm not going to do that now. Dinner's going to be soon. I'm going to play a game of Fortnite because I've just been going all day. And then I'll create that graphic later tonight. Or worst case, I can do it tomorrow at the coffee shop if I have to. I'd rather have it ready to go, but I realize, it's just a matter of slapping one of my images of a comic mixed with a Kickstarter logo, and, there you go. But anyway, I'm going to play Fortnite before dinner. Kickstarter with one exception. So I have a graphic for the buttons, the pins. 2 of them are not final, but I note that. I do have the color art done for the Frankie B. Washington variant, but I didn't post it because originally I thought I might not have it done, and then I did. But it'll give me something, hey, here's the color version I could show people in a few days to generate interest, give me something to talk about other than just, hey, Kickstarter, generic Kickstarter. I also made the sticker graphic. Both the sticker graphic and the button graphics I used by getting the templates from where I'm going to print so that it would be, the correct size and everything. And I got some vague prices, which match up with, not vague, approximate prices of, how much everything's going to cost, which matches up with what I was thinking for when I put in the tiers and things like that as well. I also changed the shipping for the add-ons so that in America, I think there's no charge for adding extra comics. I think I did say $1. No, I took it off. Nothing for the pins. And then if you're going to another country, I put $3 to add a comic or a pin set, just because I'm really nervous about the international shipping. Scott Cirqueworks Young and the Dead Circland, who I've been kind of basing a lot of this on, he set a flat fee of $35 for international shipping, which seems like a little bit overkill, but he is definitely going to be okay. He's definitely not going to get in a bad situation financially because of it. I set my prices for international shipping less and more based on what they're getting, and so I don't think I don't think there's a situation where I'm gonna like be owing money or lose money, but there's definitely a situation where it could be like, oh, I just sold this to them at cost and I made nothing, or, you know, maybe I lost $1 or something. So, yeah, as I'm talking, I realize I need to double check a couple of those shipping prices. I think they're all fine, but I need to double check a few. The only other thing I could add, which I haven't, is the sketched here examples, which is weird because like, oh, I have lots of those from the last ones, but that was years ago. And none of them are on a sketch cover. Like, yeah, so I'm offering sketch cover or 9x6 Bristol, so people could choose what they wanted on. And I feel like what I should do is do a pencil sketch to illustrate the one version, and then clean it up with inks and Copic to be the second version, and just use that as my examples. But, you know, believe it or not, I haven't had time to just do a random for nobody commission. Although I suppose that could be like another reward tier, depending on what the art is, or an add-on or whatever. Yeah, it might be worth doing for an add-on if I could find the time. That's not something I'm going to worry about getting done for tomorrow for launch, but I'll see if I can find some rough examples to throw up there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it too much. If I can find some rough examples to throw up there for tomorrow, great. If I don't, whatever. If I find one later, I'll do it later. I didn't really want to push the original art ones too much anyway, because that's time that I don't really have. But I know I kind of need to include it. So I feel like people that know me and know my art and know my work already are more likely to be like, oh, let me get a piece of art, because they kind of know what I'll do. And people that don't, maybe won't, and maybe that's fine. I'm not going to stress about it. I'm going to stop working on the Kickstarter. I'm going to double check this one postage thing and then be done looking at it today. Oh, I got to create a graphic. Which won't take too long, but I got to create a, hey, Kickstarter is launched graphic, so that I'll have that ready to go first thing in the morning tomorrow. Tuesday supposedly is the best day to launch, and I'm going to launch it on Monday because whatever, that's just what I'm going to do. But I did read, hey pup, little chocolate pup, but I did a nice one for a change. But I did read that the best time to do it is between 7 and 11, 7 in the morning and 11 in the early afternoon, Eastern time. So if I launch mine, let's say at 7, 8, 9, 10, that's 10 Eastern time. I normally get up around 7. So what I should do is have the graphic ready, wake up, launch the Kickstarter immediately, and then in an hour and a half to 2 hours, when I'm able to, like, everybody will get that notification tonight or tomorrow morning that signed up for the notifications, and then I could spend the rest of the morning promoting it everywhere else. Which also reminds me, yeah, I still never sent anything out to my previous Kickstarters. Well, I guess I'll do that tomorrow. That'll be, hey, it's live now, check it out, is what I will do. I guess I could do it tonight at some point. I keep saying, well, I'm gonna be done, and then I think of more things, and I think that's what happened every time I've done Kickstarter, because I never feel completely prepared. Which is partially my own fault, because I'm like, I just got to do it. But I bet you even somebody like Scott, who waited forever and did it perfectly, still thought of stuff. He said he thought of stuff later that he could have done or wished he had done. So, I don't know, I'm not going to stress about it too much. I know this isn't going to be life-changing or groundbreaking. I would like to cover my printing and other costs and come away with it having a nice stack of merchandise that I could give and sell. Give and sell, yeah. It'll be fine. Oh, and I did hear from my letterer. It's good that I was like blasting through making sure everything was ready last night, because he is working on the revisions and final pages today. Pins. These are pins I've had. These aren't new pins. I'm working on pin designs. I've decided instead of doing individual pins, I'm going to do a 6-pin pack. And it's going to have one image from each of the 3 variant covers. It's going to have 2 images from inside the comic of different characters that we haven't seen until this comic. And it's going to have one original art of boots that may or may not be reused for something else, but I'm creating it specifically for the pin. And I'm trying to figure out the pricing, and previously I would sell pins for about $1 each, and I know I was like underselling compared to most other people, but also the shipping. I'm aiming for maybe $2 each shipped, so that like maybe a pack of 6 will go for $12. I got to tweak that a little bit, but I think that'll be about right, where people will be paying no more than $2 a pin for the set, and that'll cover my cost and shipping and make it worth doing. Maybe I can go a little lower, but I got to check the numbers, and that's what I'm doing. I'm thinking, okay, well, if I'm just sending a pack of pins, I could send it one of this, which I actually got to mail cards. Similarly, I have these team card sleeves, so I'm just going to kind of weigh it and see what it would cost to sell this by itself, and then figure that out as an add-on. I also got the Gemini comic book shippers that Scott Circlin had recommended, and while I can't include this easily in the big 11 by 17 packs, although I will be, weight aside, this could be added to that. So, and I've been thinking about doing a stretch goal of another print, but a small, like a 9x6 print that could also be slotted into that. But anyway, that's what I'm working on now. I want to get this pin stuff settled, and then the rest of it's just going to be like looking at shipping, looking at pricing. This is like the last big thing I have to do is figure this out and create a graphic for it for the Kickstarter tomorrow. Sunday, we are going for a hike. Oh, it was blue. These are the vernal pools. They're only open on weekends, and they're only lit when we've got a lot of rain, so it's good to go sort of towards the end of winter, which is what we're in right now. Went for about an hour hike, which was nice. And I got home and she's playing a video game, and I was gonna do a bunch of stuff, and I'm just laying on the couch looking at my phone, more tired than I thought I was gonna be. Part of it I did have to carry her part of the way back, but not even that much. I'm off duty in about an hour and a half, and I'm gonna just try to shore up everything I need to on Kickstarter, get a button graphic going, and just double check a few things and make a graphic for the launch tomorrow. And tomorrow my plan is to go to a coffee shop and just spam social media everywhere I can. Yeah. But for right now, recycling.